Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Fatin Idayu binti Fauzi. Today, my friend and I would like to discuss about issues and challenges from teacher perception in teaching and learning when using ICT tools. So, what is ICT? ICT is Internet Communication Technology. ICT is one of method that enhancing classroom teaching and learning. ICT use in the classroom is important in 21st century skills. So today we would like to discuss 5 issues. So let's proceed with the first issue, which is limited time. One of the common problem that teacher face is not having enough time to plan or have limited time. Is one thing to be able to spend several hours planning a class, and then you realize that you have got 4 or 5 classes to plan for tomorrow. There simply isn't enough time to you to spend hour planning each class of you when using technology or ICT tools. It is required more time. When you have more class, more time that you need to plan the lesson when using the technology or ICT. Teacher lack of time to plan technology lesson. They don't have time to explore what is the best platform or sources that can be used for the student. And of course, as a teacher, we need to know what is the best platform and the best sources that can be used for the student at home, because not all students have the same facilities. The example platform that can teacher use is like Google Classroom and Padlet. And then teacher will stick to one or only two internet site since they don't have time to explore more or different internet site. In this case, actually student can get more information about the certain thing, but with this issue, we limit them to get it. Same goes to education software like SlideShare. Teacher will not explore the software widely, so the student can get more information. Lesson when with using technology not going so smooth, and student will get less information. Second is locate internet advice. Locate internet advice actually is very important to be aware, since as we know, internet is a great source of information, but there is a lot of information that is out of date, unreliable and incorrect. So when teacher have limited time to locate internet advice, the student will get the wrong information, or the information will not fulfill what is the student needs. So as a teacher, we must avoid the situation happen, because we don't want our student get the wrong information from us. Third is teacher have limited time to receive adequate training. As we know, teacher also have their responsibility at home as a wife, mother, father, husband or a child. So when they don't get or receive adequate training, they lack of competency when using ICT tools or technology. So this is can difficult the teacher when they want to use technology or handle with the ICT tools. Fourth is deal with technical problem. The ICT used in the classroom can be friend or foe to the teacher actually, because as we know, when we use technology or ICT tool in the classroom, there is a lot of issue associated that may be happen in the classroom. So this limit teacher from using technology or ICT tool in the classroom, because do you think teacher have time to deal with the problem, and at the same time they need to teach? So there is actually a lot of technical issue. So example is issue with the ICT and subject objective is clashing. And second, deciding what the student have done and what the computer have done. Third is determining what individual do in the collaborative ICT works. Okay, last is Teacher have limited time to explore and practice using the technology. Yes, teacher must have knowledge in many different fields. This obviously also apply to teaching the subject technology, but with the limited time to access with the ICT tools, it is difficult for teacher to explore and practice using the technology. Usually, teacher only access the ICT tool and technology only at school because, as I said just now, when at home they have their own responsibility. So, not all teacher will practice using all the stuff at home. So they have limited access actually. So they only access at school. So uh, there's no more things that they might be learn.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syahir Adib bin Sulaiman. Now, I will proceed with another issues and challenges in teaching and learning with ICT tools. According to Yusri, Goodwin, and Mooney 2016, their studies shows that the second main obstacle for teachers in using ICT in their teaching and learning activities is lack of ICT knowledge and training. Surprisingly, in the same study, it also reported that only 0.39% of teachers that apply ICT in their teaching and learning activities in their classroom, which is quite low. So when there is limited training opportunities are provided to the teachers, they cannot increase their knowledge and they cannot increase their skills in handling any technology, even there is facilities provided in the school. So when there is a lack of training, it means that there is a shortage of teachers who are qualified to use the technology confidently. Teacher who do not expert with technology or teacher who consider themselves to be poor skill in using ICT will feel anxious and unconfident to use the technologies in front of the class. They may have perceptions where their student are more advanced than they do. Thus, when they are not confident, this will affect the learning content, the lesson plan, and also will affect the teaching and learning process in the classroom. My second point is lack of pedagogic training. According to Gomez 2006, result shows that there is lack of pedagogic and didactic training in how to use ICT in this classroom. This shows that even though some teachers have received and attending training on ICT skills, the teachers are not optimizing on what ICT offers them in their teaching and learning activities. So the issue is that they have attend the training programs, they but the training programs just focus mainly on develop their skill of ICT and not on to link the ICT skill to teaching and learning aspect, or also we call as a pedagogical aspect. So there's still an issue on how to deliver or the right teaching style to deliver the content with the help of ICT. Effective training is very important. For example, if there is any new updates about ICT, such as new tools or new approaches, this is where the effective training is very important, because this may help the teacher to deliver the content with a new style that may attract the student attention. Furthermore, some of the teachers are reluctant to use ICT in the classroom or reluctant to join or attend any training in ICT. This is because they have to travel either their city or other city to complete the training program. This has take more time, more energy, and more money. Besides, they do not want to attend the training program because they may learn the new skills at YouTube or ask their clique of friends. That is the reasons why they do not want to attend any training program in the use of ICT. Moreover, some senior teachers are comfortable with their old teaching style, which not acquire much new technology. They feel that they still can teach effectively to the student without the new technology. That's another reason why they did not want to attend any training program in the use of ICT. Okay, moving on to the next point is about flipped classroom. As we talk about pedagogical aspect or the right uh, teaching style, flipped classroom is one of the best way of teaching method or approach that teacher may use in teach with ICT. So let me explain a little bit about flipped classroom. Flipped classroom is in inverted classroom model where they flip the usual classroom design, where typically class spend more time on information transfer through lecturing by the teacher or the lecturer. So in flipped classroom, student required to watch online lecture given by the teacher or the lecturer. Then they can carry out their own research on that topic at home, and then they while can engaging the concept in the classroom later with the guidance of the mentor. Some of the advantage of flipped classroom is that it allows students to learn at their own pace because the video that they watch can be watched again and again. Besides, it will enrich the lessons as the student enter the class being prepared because they have get the concept by watching the video earlier. So if there any subtopic they are not clear, they will have a discussion or they may ask to the teacher in the classroom later. Uh, flip classroom also help the teacher because the teacher does not need to give the same lecture again and again to many classes. So the teacher or the lecturer can use the same video of the learning content to the other classes. However, even though flipped classroom is one of the best way to teach with ICT, there's still an issue about it because according to Lai, Ng, and Yong 2018, they precise that where technology is where technology issue is not a major problem, but the course lecturer or the teachers should be more ICT educated. This study shows that even though they have used ICT, they need to improve their knowledge and their skills by attending effective training. So that's all for my point in lack of effective training. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Naim bin Kosim. and I'm going to continue with the challenge, which is school with limited technology supplies. Let us discuss about the impact of the challenge, which is the limited technology supplies in school. First, I discovered that the the limited technology in school lead to limited access of technologies. For example, if the school is particularly have limited computer, so uh, they need to a student need to share. For example, the school only provide with 15 set of computer within the class, which is 30 student, so they need to share the computer uh, for one set of computer for a couple. So this may lead to the student cannot discover more or cannot explore more on the technologies, which by this I mean by computer. um, it is also can lead to unfocused in student. For example, if they're sitting together, there's high possibility of them to play which each others. Another impact that I found within the lack of technology supplies in school is that it may lead to the outdated computer supplies, which mean it is already 2020. Um, the lack of supplies may because of the computer is outdated. For example, their the Windows, the Microsoft, the software, and so on. So the student tend to learn about the outdated software and Windows, which nowadays it wanted more. For example, if that particular Dell computer only can install Windows 96 and cannot be updated to the higher version. So this may cause trouble for student to learn. Um, another another impact on the lack of technologies in school is that teachers tend to stick only on traditional ways in teaching, which is I might say lecturing, or um, more to one ways communication. Um, it is because teachers find it more comfort teaching in traditional ways because of the lack of technologies or the distance between the class and to the computer may take times, and it is also might be troublesome to control the student and so on and so forth. So teachers um, might only stick to the traditional ways in teaching. um, Another reason is also because teacher might find it difficult to teach or to deliver the subject or course using technologies and ICT because of the teacher itself that have limited knowledge about ICT and technologies. I believe that every challenge may come with a solution. So in this particular challenge, I have discovered that um, how to overcome the challenge is by increasing the number of computer. By increasing the number of computer, there is enough computer set for a student, for a person. For example, from 15, we increase to 30, which it is enough for one class. So they don't have to share within the computer. This can lead to for them to focus more and explore more and can also discover more on the software or any things in the computer. A government could also take this action by giving some fund to the student to the school, so that school can provide student or could buy another set of computer so that it is enough for the student to study. Another ways is by updating is update the software or the Windows to the latest version. For example, some school uh, might still use the old computer which is equipped with the old Windows. But this time in 2020, there are some particular software that can only be installed and run in certain Windows. Um, so if the school only stick with the old version of computer, they might cannot explore more on the new or latest software and updates, and might left behind. Uh, another another ways is by always check on the computer, make sure that the computer is in a good condition, which it is usable and it is safe to be used. Or school could also upgrade from computer to laptop, which is more it is easier, lighter, and it is much more efficient and effective. um, Next is school can also set up a policy or rules or make some programs. For example, there is a week, technologies, science and technologies month for some school, which uh, they stress on the use of technologies. Or school could even put on the policy or rules for teachers that they need to use technology for maybe once in a week or once for the whole year, but just to make sure that teachers and students familiar with technologies. um, School could also make a rules, or sorry, school could also make a ICT period of time, so that um, students have a particular period of time or session to discover on technologies and ICTs. They can discover on how maybe something that related to the computer, from something related to the webs, so on and so forth. So I think that that is some of the solution that could be put an eyes on, so that this challenge or these issues could be overcome. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening everyone. My name is Nurul Fatina Bila binti Muhammad Fauzi. I will continue our presentation. Okay, my point is about accessibility and network connection. And the sub point, I have 4 of it. One is limited accessibility at home. Second, differing device capabilities and instruction. Third, high cost. And last one is unreliable network connection. Let's start with the first point, limited accessibility at home. Nowadays, in Malaysia, our education implemented visual learning, which was a new phenomenon for educators, parents, and students, especially in elementary and secondary school. Along with that, this made the ICT tools such as computer, laptop, smartphone, and software as a basic necessities. Unluckily, not every one of us have it at home. According to Senior Minister Razzie Jiden, a survey found that only 15% of students had personal computers. 5.8% possessed a tablet computer, while 46.5% had to rely on smartphones. And you know what? Surprisingly, there were 36.9% of students who did not possess any device to follow in online classroom during this MCO. The fact that such devices are often shared among family members and siblings put further limits and strain on accessibility to the online learning platform. Siblings who share devices will need to find ways for everyone to access the learning platform with the appropriate hardware and software. This explains that the lack of devices mean not some but a lot of students could not effectively participate in online classes. Well, simple. How a teacher want to teach when there are no students, right? This issue must be resolved and adjustment has to be made in our education. Next, second point, which is differing device capabilities and instruction. When the students are required to use their own device at home, there can be large differences in device capabilities. Not everyone will use the same thing. Some of them will use different device in brands such as Samsung, Redmi, iPhone, and others. Okay, what do you think the difference the difference between what a cheap Android phone can do compared to an iPad? Of course, there are a lot of differences regard on how to use it, right? In fact, there are also some devices that can't support several software. During this situation, teachers need to give multiple instructions repeatedly. Well, this because students may forget about it even after the teacher told them. This can affect lesson time and flow. Other than that, several students may have difficulty writing on small devices over long periods. Of course, this will make students easy to be distracted. As we all know, students regularly use devices for social media such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and others. Other than that, students also like to play games rather than do their own work. Eventually, these issues will hinder learning and slowly can affect teachers' motivation to teach using ICT tools. Then, I will proceed with the third point, which is high cost of equipment, data plan, and software. Is it too expensive? Yes, it is for some of us. Teachers have to make sure they tailor classes based on student needs and convenience. By this, they should ask if each of the students have appropriate device for e-learning and constant stability internet at home. According to Musingafi et al. In 2015, instruction-related challenge in online distance learning is rooted in financial difficulties, which hinders an effective and balanced teaching and learning system. Online learning would inevitably give some burden to several households that are in low-income families. These are due to having financial difficulties to accessibility and network connection. For examples, families that can't afford to buy superior broadband plans or Wi-Fi will clearly find the home-based learning as a difficult experience and also hectic. Wi-Fi speeds that used to support entire family without glitches may suddenly slow down when everyone is at home and online at the same time. In this issue, it's not only affected the students, but the teachers also can because the teacher also have families at home. This problem usually occurs to the people in rural areas. At the end, if the student cannot afford this equipment, it will left them so much behind because of the teaching will go on as in their absence. In fact, how a teacher want to teach when there are no equipment, right? This is a very big problem. As a result, implementing online learning also may burden the teachers as they could not achieve their own goal. Other than that, there are a lot of educational applications we need to pay in order to use it in advance. For example, Powtoon and Canva just allow some features to be used, and if we want to apply the advanced one, we need to pay. If the pay is cheap, it's okay, but it is very expensive to subscribe it. This makes the teaching and learning are just limited to some application only, and in other cases, it also limited to teachers' creativity to create more advanced material for their students. Lastly, the point is unreliable network connection. In order to explain this point, I will move to the next slide. Internet connectivity and online learning challenges amid COVID-19 pandemic is the title of study conducted by Dr. Nurianti Jali. This is her picture. This survey was recorded from April 15 to 30 May this year, which involving 574 respondents aged 14 and above from Sarawak and Sabah. As you can see, based on the question of what type of community that you live, the result shows that 50%, which is most of them are living in small towns, 33% in rural areas, and 17% in large cities. Based on this demographic, we can see that most of them have weak, slow, and unstable internet. In fact, there were also some of them who have no access to internet at home and had to wait out from home for a while in order to get high speed of internet. Annoyance such as repeated disconnecting Wi-Fi, sickness, and getting kicked out of classrooms can be distressful for students. Moreover, the learning will be disturbed and unable to achieve the objective of learning. For example, we can clearly see the effort made by Viviana Mosibin, who strives so hard to get a good connection of internet on a tree top to complete her test. I believe that all of us have heard about these hot issues, right? In addition, afraid of their students would left behind, there were also several teachers who willing to travel far just to send educational materials for their students. By this era of globalization, these issues should be resolved a long time ago. Don't you agree? In conclusion, I can say that just by these examples provided, it is a strong evidence that shows it is really difficult for teachers and students to get accessibility and good network connection, especially people from Sabah and Sarawak. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Nofatihah binti Alpandi. So now let us proceed with our last point, that is lack of teacher competency. So first of all, what is teacher competency? Teacher competency can be described as a set of knowledge, skill, attitudes, value, or motivation needed in order to be successful in a job. While ICT competency can be referring as a set of technology standards that define proficiency in using computer technology in the classroom. I consider the issue of lack of teacher competency can be seen through 4 different subpoints here. There are skill, knowledge, readiness, and also attitude. First, skill here refer to the teacher lack of competency of using or operating the ICT in an excellent way. According to Rogers 2003, individual decision to accept and use a new technology is related to the individual's skills and knowledge regarding how to operate that technology appropriately. Second, the readiness. The readiness here is related with the teacher lack of preparation and not ready in conducting the online learning or ICT. So since the ICT is expanding rapidly, if teachers are not ready with adequate and latest knowledge or skill, they will be unable to keep pace with the ever-changing technology and inevitably will be left behind and hampered from mastering new ICT competencies stated by Masnida, Wong and Ayub 2011. Again, this issue is not done yet, as Liu 2007 assumed that one of the main factors that might hinder ICT program implementation could be teachers resistant to the acceptance and use of this new technology in school. And then third, the knowledge. The knowledge here is referring in teacher lack of understanding towards each of the different ICT offered and how to choose which is suitable according to the plan of teaching. So here I agree with Pino et al. 2011. In order to be effective, teachers should not only strive to improve their pedagogical knowledge and instructional skill, but they should constantly adapt to new technologies and refine their knowledge, skill, and competency in order to integrate instructional technology efficiently and effectively. And last one is attitude. It is referring to the teacher lacks of teachers' acceptance toward the changes from traditional teaching approach to involving ICT in the teaching and learning. Okay, according to Albirini 2006, Demirki 2009, Theo 2008, and Pino and Van Braak 2014, who also found that teachers' positive attitude toward ICT is the key factor for enhancing teacher acceptance and the use of ICT. Okay, this is supported by Cadell 2005, noted that regardless of the quantity of or the quality of technology available in the classroom, the key to how ICT are used is the teacher. Therefore, teacher must have the competence and right attitude towards the technology. So, in my opinion, skill, knowledge, readiness, and attitude is the key to determine the teacher competency. All these factors or characteristics is vital in order for the teacher to create a better learning environment for the students. So, imagine if you as a teacher, you wanted to conduct fully online learning or using ICT in your lessons. Imagine how if you don't have the skill in operating the web, for example, and no idea to choose which platform that's suitable or meet your requirement of your lessons, then you are not exploring or trying first before you apply to your student or to your lessons. What do you think the circumstances that will be happen later? So of course, the situation will be kelam kabut, and then you not ready, student not ready, both of you is not ready. So it depends on the teachers itself. So here, how the competency of the teacher is playing an important role. Okay. Okay, so now let's take a look on the example. Have you heard about Frog VLE? I bet some of you know about it and most of you might be first time. Because I'm also first time I'm here about it. So Frog VLE is one of the ICT education learning tool. It stands for Frog Virtual Learning Environment. It is a web-based learning system where teacher can assign lesson, test, or mark virtually. It also collaboration project with iBestariNet. Okay, however, there are some issues that I have read about it. Okay, referring to Shahaimi and Khalid 2015, teacher use less fraud VLE due to lack knowledge and not enough time to make learning through fraud VLE. And supported by Mohidin and Khalid 2014 stated that only 2% of teachers use fraud VLE in learning. Okay, to deduce that, teachers' awareness working in 21st century and the school lack of encouragement to teachers on the use of technology in teaching in the classroom environment is the main issues that need to be solved immediately to avoid teacher and student from left behind. So the conclusion, in a nutshell, teachers are central to the effectiveness technology infrastructures and self-education. How teachers acquire the skill they need to use technologies and how the technology is actually used and what to ends are critical policy domains that must be carefully explored. So lastly, I have some quotes here. Technology will never place a great teacher, but in the hands of a great teacher, technology can be transformational. So next let's have some time to discuss about the issues and other solution in this issue in the next meeting. Bye!